Greetings. Pause to Write is a podcast exploring the creative writing side of short stories, discussions, or even wild tangents that serve to both entertain and make you think about life, love, faith, and choices made, as well as the consequences of each. They are presented by our host, Dice Barista, who, when it comes to beverages, believes the old phrase, "It's not gambling if you do the math."
BattleBards.com is a great source for background tracks, sounds, and music, plus tools to give your games or podcasts that quintessential you are there feeling. BattleBards Prime subscribers have streaming access to online content, as well as the ability to use online tools, soundboard, mixer, and gaming cast features. In addition, functionality to integrate your personal local libraries and 20% off any purchases. Pause to Write podcast is brought to you with the help of creators like Wes Otis at Plate Mill Games, Kevin MacLeod, Alexander Necrata, and Devon Marotta, each on BattleBards.com. Together helping and giving these podcasts a richer atmosphere in those realms where your mind's journeys take you. Go visit BattleBards.com for Prime subscription options, getting access to the greatest collection of cinematic gaming audio.
Hexed by Paul Harmelink. Her hands were sweaty, and she had goosebumps. This is not what she normally did, or felt. Yet, unlike many times in her life, she also had this strange serenity as well. It was almost like she was hexed. She tried to think back to when the bewildering had started. It had been a hot day, even hotter than normal for this time of year. Most days, it was a chance to stay inside and get the chores started, or even better, get some rest. Lord, even the thought of a relaxing nap made her day brighter. But not today. Today she wanted to treat herself, although it meant stepping out on the devil's fry pan outside. She would go to that hidden restaurant she reserved for quality alone time. She goes there infrequently, enough to recognize the faces of regulars or staff, but not enough that they knew her. She packed the latest book she was reading and knew this would be special. She just never expected it to be this far beyond the course she normally ventures out upon. As she walked in, she removed her sunglasses. Her eyes adjusted to the change. The host motioned her to a table near the front, but she indicated something more in the middle. "Of course," he said, then realized he forgot the menu, left her in the aisle. That is when she saw the man sitting down in the back. She had noticed him a few times before, but because he seemed so sequestered in his chair, she rarely gave him a second glance. But as she stood there, alone, looking at him, it happened that their eyes met. Normally she would break eye contact as quick as anyone. Today time slowed, and the view lasted longer, much longer. It became a connection. She suddenly noticed a color and light behind those pupils. Plus there was something extra there, something she could not place her finger on, but made her heart skip 1/2 beat. It was at this point that she broke the look as he turned away, over to the right. Was she seeing things, or did he seem embarrassed? The host returned with a menu and sat her at the table halfway down the aisle. That is when she did her first unique action. She sat directly facing his, so she could still see the man in the corner clearly. She placed the book on the table and slid it away from her as she brought her hands to cradle her chin in a pensive stare. Yet even she was shocked that she was so openly observing a stranger that she only shared a moment's glance with. Curiously, her mind started to observe and learn more about this stranger. "Can I get you something to drink?" the voice of the server said. "White wine," she said, never breaking her focus. "There," she thought. He looked up at me again. That is of interest. However, what happened next was not at all what she expected. Some customer was trying to adjust the blinds to reduce the sun and heat, but instead pulled the wrong cord. The back corner lit up like a spotlight, and with that light, the man's icy blue eyes became alive with joy, pain, tenderness, and something magical. For just an instant, he looked like royalty. "Here's your wine, ma'am." She thanked the server and took a long pull on it. Suddenly her mind was set. She decided to go against her normal instincts and venture out to talk to this intriguing man with the magical eyes. She left her drink and her book and started to walk down towards him. Walking closer, she felt her pulse increase and felt a bit flushed. Maybe the wine on an empty stomach wasn't the best idea. She smiled as she approached. If there was anything she had learned through the years growing up, it was that a smile is both defense and a means to lower a man's barricade. He seemed to both relax and tense at the same time, yet she could see the embers start to glow in his icy blue eyes, giving a rich, warm feeling that she felt all the way down to her toes. Although he said something, she wasn't quite able to hear. He indicated an open chair at his table. She sat down and felt an out-of-body moment as she heard her voice give an introduction and asked his name. He responded and reached out his hand in greeting. There was a spark of electricity as his eyes grew ever bright. Damn those eyes. She popped out of the memory and back into the reality of her present situation. What was she doing with him? And why was she feeling this way? And as she looked over him, his eyes were like blue, clear ice that you would skate on, releasing your cares. She knew he had cast a spell on her. It was just like that story of that strange wizard PI he kept telling her about at the restaurant. Then she noticed the tear on his right cheek. That was strange. Surely someone who had her under his spell would not be tearing up. She focused her brain intently on what he was saying, pushing the distraction of emotion and feelings aside. "I can't believe this," he said with a soft tone. "You are walking down the street with us holding hands and the two of us talking about so much that we have in common." She paused. He was right. The fog in her head was thinning out. She now was remembering that they had been talked at that table for hours, laughing, telling stories, getting closer with each tale. It was like they had always known each other. "As far as I'm concerned," he continued, "you have been an answer to my prayers." That is when she realized it wasn't magic, charm, desire, or even loneliness that he, or she, had used. This man was no more a wizard than she had been a sorceress of him. This Hex was actually the Holy Spirit, working miracles in two people's lives to bring fellowship to two of the Lord's children. They have been brought together to help fill certain empty spots in the other's lives, and only God can do that special type of magic. It's called love.
Pause to Write is a podcast brought to you by Paul Harmelink at Dice Barista. All stories are original works by him and standard owner copyrights apply to content. Additional background themes or effects are provided with permission from Plate Mail Games, found on the socials at Plate Mail Games. I have been your MC, and we hope you have enjoyed your journey.